Hi, how are you? I told you we were going to talk about Hanukkah for 2 weeks, and then we'll go on to Christmas. So here's a story about the borrowed Hanukkah Latkes. So those were the potato pancakes we talked about. Rachel hopped on one foot, so she jumped up and down. It was the last night of Hanukkah, and all the relatives were coming. Papa got out extra paper and plates, and Mama flipped latkes left and right. She flipped on one side, two sides. Here, she gave Rachel a latke. Tell me if it's any good. She took a bite. Mama's potato latkes weren't just good. They were taking a little trip straight up to heaven. The phone rang. Ding, 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 ding. Could be anything. All our phones have different rings now. I'm trying to get out of the sun over here. Mama wiped her hands on her apron. Hello, Miriam. Oh, you're Aunt Tilly. Sure, she can come. And her seven grandchildren. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll have plenty of latkes. Don't worry. Mama got off the phone and shook her head. Oh, 8 more people. Rachel bounced in the chair. Up and down. That makes 17, including us. Mama held her head. 17 people in this house in less than an hour until they come. Papa, get more dishes down. Rachel, get more potatoes from the cellar. Uh-oh, they were having a lot of people. Rachel raced down the stairs. She grabbed the potato sack and raced back up. Mama opened the sack. Only 3 sick little potatoes. That's what's left, said Rachel. Oh, Mama smacked her forehead. This is bad. It's too late to go to the store. Maybe we can borrow some from Mrs. Greenberg, said Rachel. No, Mama shook her head. That wouldn't be right. She's all alone. Every year I invite her. She won't come. She thinks she'd be a bother, but she always says, if you need anything, let me know. She's got a heart of gold, but she's as stubborn as an ox. Maybe she'll come if we borrow her potatoes, said Rachel. Good idea, said Mama. Quick, go ask her. Rachel raced next door. She ran and ran and ran. Mrs. Greenberg's house was always clean and tidy, like its face was scrubbed with and its blouse was tucked in, while Rachel's house always looked like it was still in its pajamas and needed to brush its hair. Rachel knocked. And the door opened. Well, look who's here. Come in, come in. When Mrs. Greenberg smiled, it was with her whole face. Rachel stepped inside and everything was still. It didn't seem much like Hanukkah except for the menorah with the candles. Sit down. I don't charge extra, Mrs. Greenberg winked. So she closed her eye and she winked. Rachel shook her head. I can't stay. Mom is making latkes. Can we borrow some potatoes? Borrow, Mrs. Greenberg frowned. No, she rushed off and returned with a big sack. Here, don't borrow. I don't want them back. You all should eat them in good health. Thank you, said Rachel. And now, please come. We want you with us. Mrs. Greenberg was silent. Stop talking. So silent you could hear the walls listening. You could hear the rug holding its breath. Rachel, dear, she finally said, your mama has enough without me. All those latkes, all that work. I know how it is. Years ago, every Hanukkah, my house was filled with people too. But those days are long gone. She smoothed down her apron. Now you go home and happy Hanukkah. Rachel dragged her feet, and she set the sack on the counter. Wonderful, said Mama. Not so wonderful, said Rachel. Mrs. Greenberg won't come. Didn't I tell you, said Mama? She has a heart of gold, but she's as stubborn as an ox. Now quick, get the rest of the eggs for the latkes. Rachel looked in the refrigerator. There aren't any left. Oi, Mama smacked her forehead again. This is bad. Rachel nodded. I'll go to Mrs. Greenberg. No, Mama shook her head. That's not right. We have to, said Rachel. And now she'll have to come. Rachel ran over. Quick, quick, quick. Can we borrow some eggs? Borrow, Mrs. Greenberg shook her finger at Rachel. She handed her a carton of eggs. Don't borrow, use them in good health. Thank you, said Rachel. And now please come for Hanukkah. Thanks anyway, said Mrs. Greenberg, but honestly, I'm more comfortable right here in my own house. Back at home, Rachel set the eggs on the counter. Mrs. Greenberg still won't come. Maybe I'll take her some latkes. Don't, said Mama. No one wants to eat Hanukkah latkes alone. That minute, the doorbell rang. Ding dong, ding dong. Aunts, uncles, and cousins poured in, hugging, kissing, laughing, and crowding around. But when it was time to eat, no one sat. There weren't enough chairs. I'll get some crates for the cellar, said Papa. What was Papa thinking, to sit on crates and eat latkes? Wait, said Rachel, I have an idea. She ran straight to Mrs. Greenberg's house. Can we borrow some chairs? Of course, take what you need. One by one, Rachel carried the chairs to Mrs. Greenberg's front porch. Then she stopped. Oh, I just thought, but no, I shouldn't ask for anything else. I said, Mrs. Greenberg, whatever it is, I want you to have it. All right, said Rachel. We need room for all these chairs. Room? What do you mean, room? Rachel tried not to smile. You have lots of room. Mrs. Greenberg looked at Rachel. You mean your guest should come and sit in my house? Well, that would be nice, said Rachel. Mrs. Greenberg was quiet for a long time. So long that the walls got tired of waiting and the rug couldn't hold its breath anymore. Finally, she spoke. Rachel, my dear, someday when you're an old lady like me, I hope you have a girl living next door who's as smart and sweet as you. I'd love to have some company for Hanukkah. Rachel threw her arms around her and Mrs. Greenberg hugged her back. Rachel, you have a heart of gold, but did anyone ever tell you you're as stubborn as an ox? No, said Rachel, but thank you. And the same to you. Me, Mrs. Greenberg laughed. Ha, ha, ha. You're worse than me, Rachel. I didn't think it was possible. So everyone trooped over with plates full of latkes, and Rachel marched over with 2 plates. She handed one to Mrs. Greenberg. Here, said Rachel, don't borrow, just eat them in good health. What a really cute story. I hope you liked it and you learned a little more about what was the potato called? A latke. And what were they celebrating? Hanukkah. And what did they have to borrow? They borrowed eggs and potatoes, and they even borrowed her home. If that isn't a nice thing to do around the holidays, let people in. All right, you guys, have a wonderful, wonderful day and be safe.